So, just so that you feel at home, I was a crap seeker. I was a hopeless seeker. I sort of went around and did this and did that. First of all, I was a Christian. I tried to become a Christian. But when a Christian priest told me about the restrictions on sex, that was my first, I just walked out. And then I was with somebody, Gerja, and I was involved in that for a little while. Somehow it was all too mental for me. And then later on, after a few other excursions, I came across somebody called Osho, and this was some years later when I'd been a very successful builder, and I was actually a millionaire. and then I went away from all that and went into the Osho movement and lived in the commune. And I involved myself with that sort of circus that was going on there, doing all sorts of therapy and meditation and all those sort of things, and going to the American place sometimes. But I lived in Medina, near Oxford, near Cambridge. And so I was trying all these different things, and somewhere when I was being talked to by these people, or I was being given advice, or being told, or being given a list, or being told how I should be, somewhere I felt, right from the beginning, that the whole point of this was being missed. There was a feeling that it wasn't about me. I mean, even at school, I was a complete failure at school. I had a double A in recreation. So everything thereafter, going to be somebody trying to teach me what to do and how to meditate and all that, just didn't seem to work. Because there was a strong feeling somewhere that actually what I was looking for was nothing to do with me. It was nothing that I would have to reach. It wasn't some sort of level I would have to reach. I wouldn't have to, in some way or other, become worthy in order to attain some sort of goal. Because somewhere already I knew I never would be worthy. So the whole sense of that feeling of being taught how to find something just didn't work for me really in the end. I just didn't feel that was how it was. So I left the Osho movement and came and lived up in Wiltshire. And for a while I was on my own there. And then suddenly some completely different perception arose. And I started writing this little book called The Open Secret, because it was out of that very simple perception that arose. But that perception was so radical. It was just amazed me that it could be, that could be an idea, that could be the answer in a way. In a sort of way, not an answer. It was so radical, it wasn't an answer. And in a sense, that's what I didn't find with teachers. They were trying to give me answers all the time, ways of being. And so all of this came out of that, talking about this, writing that book and so on. And I think what I'm trying to share with you is that the realization here is that the whole sense of there being a me, a person, an individual, a seeker, that has to make an effort or make a sacrifice or let go or become aware or have something that it does in order to find what it longs for, is simply an illusion. It's actually a delusion. It's a deluded idea that this person, this apparent person, that seems to think it has free will and choice and is on a path to somewhere, on a journey. All of that, for me, became an illusion. I recognised that was not the point. In a sense, that whole idea that I had to find something, that I had to become something, actually got in the way of something that was already there. There was a sudden recognition that what I was longing for had never gone away. What I was really longing for had never parted from this, had never hidden, wasn't hidden. It was just always available in everything that was happening. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the possibility that this whole sense of a me, this contracted sense of a me in here that's sort of limited, is actually just a false construct. Apparently neuroscientists have discovered that the brain creates an artificial me in order to survive in the world, and it uses the me to survive. As part of evolution, thousands of years ago, suddenly the brain became sophisticated enough to create an artificial identity which it used in order to survive in the world. And actually, when you think about what's happened in the world with the brain and me being active, the me, the I, the person, the individual, now seems to dominate in the world. That seems the dominant force in the world. And yet what we're talking about here is the possibility that very strong sense of a me that seems absolutely real is actually a delusion. So we can talk together about that possibility, and also about the awful possibility that actually whatever me does, it can never find what it longs for. Me is constantly trying to make its life work, and for a little while it may seem to work and then it doesn't anymore. Me in a sense is on a path, ultimately, a wonderful path to absolute failure in the world and in seeking. The me can't find what it longs for, because the me, the individual, the I, lives in a subject-object world reality. It's a dreamt reality. When that construct is formed at a very early age, that me experiences itself as something here, in here, and experiences everything else as something out there. So it lives in a separate subject-object world. It lives in a finite, dualistic reality. That's all it knows. And therefore, there's no possibility, this is the whole crux of this, there's no possibility that that energy that lives artificially in only a finite world can ever know the infinite. It can't know the infinite. Whatever it does, it can't know it, because whatever it does, it's trying to chase an object. And there is no object to chase. There's nothing to find. All there is what is already. This is it. What you're looking for is the loudest sound in this room. It's the biggest thing in this room. What you're looking for is happening to you already. It's the beloved saying, I'm here already, you don't need to do anything. So that's what we share together, and in some way or other we can talk together about this, and somehow the whole belief system that supports me can crumble. But the most freeing thing is energetic. The energy of separation is a contracted, imprisoned energy in here. What we long for is boundless, can't be measured, can't be known. It can't be known even. And somehow that whole contraction seems to evaporate back into the whole, possibly. So let's see what happens.
So thank you for showing that. Could I ask a question, which is, everything you said made sense to me from all the spiritual work I've done, but where I am with it, I hope you don't mind me mentioning names. Yeah, I went to see Muji for a one-to-one, and he asked me he was asking me for self-inquiry, what I was beyond my thoughts, and I had a white light spiritual experience. And that was not an event that occurred at the time. And I do this thing now. What's stopping me from being fully here is just my engagement, as I see it, this is how I see it, is the engagement with my thoughts. My engagement with my thoughts then takes me puts me into the limited. And I'm not in the unlimited, which for me is, so that's what I'm working on, just letting go of engagement with thoughts, and some thoughts being more difficult to use engagement with than other thoughts, so that I can feel that more expansive, unlimited aspect, which I have experienced.
Yeah, well, you think you have.
Which I think I have experienced, yes, thank you for correcting me.
Well, what you're talking about all the time is something happening to you.
Yes.
It never will. What you're talking about is that you think you have an experience. In awakening, there is no me that has awakening. It just is what is. But with the way you're talking about a development of you, or a way in which you can select certain thoughts and not others, and be in, and then you can learn how to be in a rich moment. But that has absolutely no connection with what we're talking about here at all. Muji essentially is a teacher.
Yes.
And he says himself, he's teaching and helping people to find something.
Yes.
So what is being discussed here is the possibility that whole idea is an illusion. It isn't the me that has to find something, it's the me that doesn't have to, but can collapse. When the me collapses, when there's no me, there's nothing left. And when there's nothing left, all there is everything.
I agree.
And then it isn't a me or an I or a seeker that's found something. It's a me or an I or a seeker that's collapsed or died. And that which is longed for is all there is. But there isn't anybody in it. There isn't someone that then has oneness or wholeness. There's just oneness or wholeness.
I totally agree with what you said.
Oh.
I'll
give you an extra star. But the way you're talking is also... thoughts are what is. You talk about certain thoughts and other. Thinking is simply what is. Sitting on a seat is what is.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong or right with anything. It just is the appearance of wholeness being what is, including thoughts.
Yes.
So what the mind might think of as wrong thoughts or negative thoughts are just, that's dualism. You're trying to deny the whole of life by selecting certain bits of it. We're talking here about utter freedom.
Yes.
This is a complete freedom where there isn't anything that's denied or accepted, where everything just is.
Yes. So,
if what Muj has given you doesn't work, just try harder. Or any teacher is in a subtle way giving you something. Some people are very particular about their teaching, like self-inquiry, very directed, and other teachers are saying, just accept everything as it is, be open to everything as it is. Who's going to do that? Me never will. Me can't accept what is, because me doesn't know what is. It lives in what will be. It only can live in what will be.
yes. So, to have the disappearance of me.
You can, me has the experience of me, yeah, definitely. So me is quite sure it's a real thing.
Can I get rid of me?
No, you can't. No, that's the point. If you can't get rid of me can suddenly collapse. You never will get it. No matter how hard. Don't forget, the other thing that me does is divide itself into two. There's a lower me and a higher me. And the higher me is very, very attracted to the idea of self-inquiry and meditation, rejecting certain thoughts and being pure. And that can then bring an apparent experience of progress. But it's all in the dream. It's all a dream. It's just a dream chasing around an object called enlightenment.
So how do I let...
No, you don't. There's no how. Here, there's no how to. Here, there's nothing for sale. This is a place where the seeker is completely starved. This is a meeting which, for the individual and the seeker, is absolutely pointless. There's nothing here. Suddenly, what do I do? What do I do? Where do I go? And then suddenly, there's this.
It sounds to me like full acceptance of the
No,
world.
but now you're back to you fully accepting. You die, you have to die. Die!
I want to die. That's what I, because I perceive a me in the dualistic world.
Well, that's the dream.
Which I agree is the dream.
But that's the dream.
And I want to be out of the dream.
No, yeah, I know, but you can't. Me can't jump out of the dream because me is the dream. Me is separation. Me is the dream.
I agree.
Me is dualism.
So, what I interpret you saying, and that's a dualistic statement, I know in its sense, it's just acceptance.
No, you're still putting a name on something that can be done. That's mutual.
Trudy, what is body-mind existence? What
Well,
is
in the natural reality, it's just what is. What is. It's just what is. But for me, the me feels that it's a body that has a me. I have a centre, I'm a real person in here. This is me. I used to think, Tony Parsons used to think that me, Tony Parsons, lived within the boundary of the skin. I lived in here, and I was a real person, and I could really find whatever. And everything else was outside, and that's the dilemma.
so are we
I'm
saying
real,
that
the wall is real. No, it's not. It's nothing wobbling. It is what is.
so are we saying that body-mind existence has no purpose at all?
No, not only that, but nothing else also
Okay.
has no purpose. There's no meaning or purpose in any of this. It is divinely what it is. It doesn't need any direction. It simply is what it is. There's
So what
nothing
do you-
directing it. There's nothing directing this energy. There's nothing influencing it. It simply is. Well, there's no God or consciousness or any of that other idea of something that's wise and direct. It just is what is. It's pure, impersonal energy.
So when you see yourself in the mirror, what do you see?
Oh, I think any woman resisting. I see a face, a body, it's like this. I see bodies and faces here. There is no me here, there's no one here. I don't see any individual here. Individuality is a delusion, so show me your individuality. You could talk about it and say, oh, I am a person that can accept. And then this will just shoot that down with No, you're not. That's the whole dilemma. It's just what is.
Tony,
So,
This is about something very simple.
yeah, simple. Would you say the experience of me is part of human development, though? It's something that's sort of part of human development?
No, there's nothing developing. There's no progress. Even the idea of progress or evolution is only an appearance. This is a deep mystery. Don't forget, the whole of this room is only nothing, no thing appearing as this room. It simply is an amazingly brilliant happening or apparent happening. This is nothing appearing as this. And it has no purpose or meaning or direction of any sort. It simply is what it is. But for the me, the me thinks this is a real story, I'm in a story and I've got to go and find something. No, there's no development, there's nothing going anywhere. There's nothing happening. This is nothing happening. It appears to be happening. You know, you're quite sure you think you're going to get up out of here and walk out tonight, but actually that is simply nothing appearing as that action. Everything is real and unreal. It's amazing. It's stunning. It's just stunning.
I'm going to ask it anyway, although I know it's kind of dumb to ask it, and I kind of know the answer. I know what you're going to say. I think, well, who's
You
thinking?
don't. I don't. I never know.
Well, you were talking earlier about people, the me's are normally so in this contraction that they have no awareness of this. I know.
Well, they
it's
have
weird.
awareness because that's the way me keeps separate through awareness.
Okay,
I'm aware that I'm the
so you
person.
can have awareness of the separation.
Yeah.
So this contraction, if you look at various modalities of healing, meditation, do lessen the contraction.
Sorry?
Do lessen the contraction.
Oh.
But is there any point in that?
There's still a contraction.
It-
The root of all longing is separation. And if you're slightly less contracted or more contracted, that you're still there, longing to be home. You can relax, you can go and have a massage, you can do this or do that, and you'd feel more relaxed, but it would still be a more relaxed me.
But if that me has to disintegrate,
Well, it doesn't have to. Nothing
it
has to happen.
does.
Nothing has to happen because everything is perfect. This is perfect. This is nothing being this, so it doesn't give a because nothing has to happen because everything is already whole. But in the me, things have to happen. I have to be a better person or be more accepting.
But you said the me collapses.
Only apparently. This is the other awful part of this message. There is no such thing as a me or a seeker. There is no such thing as liberation or collapsing. But we're talking in two different realities. The natural reality is that everything is whole. In the separate reality, in that reality, there seems to be a story about somebody who is looking for home. And in order to address that story, a story is being told about that seeker suddenly collapsing and there is only home. It's just a description.
That's just description.
It's just a
because
description.
You have to use words.
What is can't be described because it can't be known. But the approach or what can seem to happen for me about collapsing can be described. What's left at the end of it, people phone me up and say, Tony, this is just amazing. You know, when that's correct. I can't tell you what this is. I can't even describe this to you. I can't describe what the carpet is suddenly like, whereas before it was just a real carpet, or wall, or person. I can't describe it. It's impossible. I can't tell you what is it like, what this is. It can't be known. It's the one thing that can't be known.
So any form of meditation or therapy, you're going to slightly make it can't even shift you to a place where that becomes
No,
normal.
it's still a subject chasing an object. But the other thing is, let's be clear, me can't not meditate or meditate. This isn't about me not seeking or seeking. Me is constantly only seeking. The nature of me is to seek. So it might meditate or self-inquire or whatever you like.
So one must just give up seeking.
Sorry?
So one can just give up seeking.
You want to give up.
Well, I mean, one
You can't give up seeking because me seeks. Me feels lost and seeks.
Well, in my head I have understood that, but then I wouldn't be sitting here.
me one day becomes aware that present and past and future seem to be happening
No,
now.
this is not to do with awareness. Awareness is the way that me keeps itself separate. So you're sitting on a chair, me sitting on a chair, and it's aware of sitting on the chair. That's how it keeps separate from sitting on the chair, which is a naked, innocent time happening.
And the time, the past, the present, and future suddenly
You,
collapsing.
yeah, everything collapses and there's nothing left. And there's nothing that knows there's nothing left. It just is. So all you end up, well, all that's ended up with is nothing. Not a lot. When there's nothing, there's everything. Suddenly there's everything. And it doesn't matter where that body, mind, organism then goes, because constantly there is only the love. Carpets, mind, thoughts, any thought. No matter about thought. Anything is the love. Of course it is. You know that. You know it's this. Everybody knows it's this.
I resonate with what you said. I know when I first heard you speak, somewhere since I've heard you speak, all I've been doing is breaking my heart.
Yeah. It does break your heart, yeah.
There's nothing I can do about that.
No. That's what it is. That's what happens. You're losing everything. The heart, everything. And also, when this is heard, there's such a longing. There's nothing else worth longing for. Sorry? You feel that too?
Yes. And there's a sense of everything that has been, every way that I've navigated the world, the map system of the mind, everything is just not working.
Oh no, there's no map.
It's just not fitting into that. And then I found myself in this space that you did an impression of in the chair, which is just like, kind of, and where do I go from there? What do I do?
Yeah.
And what
Where would you need to go?
exactly.
No one needs to go in, there's nowhere to go.
Then comes in this third element, I call it, which is the unknown, which is that which I could not have predicted or where I could not have formulated myself. And there is I really did. I don't know what any of this is.
No. It's a wonderful helplessness.
And it breaks my heart too.
Yeah.
I had a question on the way here after watching your YouTube videos. So I think I'm on the verge of burning all the paper.
Sorry, no. On the verge of
Burning all the paper
burning all paper.
that I've seeked on. So once that seeking energy falls away, you say that we like to think that we're the managing directors of our lives. So, but once that seeking energy falls away, if someone is an alcoholic, is there then not that space for that addiction to be in.
It wouldn't matter either way. It doesn't matter whether you're alcoholic or anything else. This has nothing to do with you.
Mm.
But in the falling away of the me, don't forget me is incredibly neurotic in a way. It's sort of schizophrenic, really, because it knows there's something else, but it's in the world that it's not happy with. It feels discomfort, it feels dissatisfied. So there's a lot of neurosis that arises, can be with me, to try and comfort itself or replace that which it longs for with drink or whatever you like. And when that collapses and suddenly there's a lot of that can fall away. It wouldn't necessarily mean all of it falls away, because the brain apparently holds on to trauma.
Yeah.
The brain holds on to trauma, and don't forget, there's an artificial me that has now no more, but there's still a body-mind organism that has a brain. And the brain can hold on to trauma for a little while, but it goes on speaking about that trauma to the body, but there's no one in there listening. Me's not listening, me isn't there anymore. So that whole remaining feeling or sense of just falls away because it's got nothing to entertain it or feed.
Yeah. Because I saw you speak like a small portion of the conscious TV videos, and then I was thinking, well, maybe if the need energy for the drink falls away a bit, then we wouldn't need to smoke, but then wouldn't we not need to pay our mortgage or do degrees? Would we just sit in bliss?
Enlightenment is not paying your mortgage. There isn't anything any more like that in this. We're talking about utter freedom. Paying the mortgage may or may not happen. That is simply irrelevant now. You don't, let's be clear, we don't need a me to pay the mortgage, but me does worry about paying the mortgage. That's all it can do. It doesn't have to pay the mortgage. And he judges itself for not paying the mortgage or not meditating, listening to bad thoughts. It's a judge that sits there and it has no foundation at all.
So would you say that every experience that you have in liberation is just blissful?
Yeah, but don't forget, I don't have an experience. There's no one here experiencing this right now. There's no one here. All there is what's happening. So there's no local thing that's happening, because even if it's happening in this body, there isn't anybody that has this body, it's just another thing. So it can't be just that, it's just life happening.
But if the me factor was a bit less in the world, less dominant as it is, then the world would be a very different place.
Well, yeah, but we're not talking about saving the world here.
No, I'm aware of that.
Because there is no world to save that. The world is just another appearance. So this isn't about a better place or anything.
But it'd be helpful, I guess, and there would be less schizophrenia.
There's nothing that helps him. There's only what is. Does somebody have a hand up? No.
Sorry, just one more bit on. So, if this liberation happened to the no one, would I still be going to my 9 AM lectures, or?
I can't say. There's no way you can say, but it would then be irrelevant. You wouldn't necessarily go in the same direction. You seem to be going. You wouldn't be going in any direction. But there would be an expression. And if you're creative, there would be a very spontaneous creativity, because you haven't got me sitting on the shoulder saying this is the way you should paint or draw or even sweep a road. It would just happen.
So, do you still
there's nobody there anymore. You know your own house.
No, I don't have a house. But there is a house I'll probably go back to. It's what's happening. There isn't anything but this.
But you would never walk into another person's house.
Well, it
So
depends
you
what
said-
they're like. There are 3 blondes in a... But,
You still have a sense of...
oh, I know where London is. I think he's round about here, isn't it, somewhere. You know, I know where this has a knowledge about information like anybody else. The brain holds the knowledge.
So
And
you
it
still
holds the
after
knowledge about a
you
house
still
that I
know
seem
that-
to live in.
Yeah,
But,
that's your
but
house.
that is simply what's happening. There's nobody that is making that happen. Nobody makes going home and going into a house tonight happen. It just happens. This is just happening. Nobody's doing it. Nobody came here. There may be an idea, oh, I'm going to go and see Tony Parsons because I heard how wonderful he is. That's perfectly true. But it isn't, you didn't choose to come here. This is what happened. You're not choosing to sit here. It's what's happening. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no you to do anything about it. There's no need for you to do anything about sitting here. All there is sitting here.
If there's nothing happening,
Nothing happens.
if there's nothing happening,
No.
yet I have a perception of the world as a place, and you say, well, it's my perception.
If there's a me there, it would have a me perception of the world.
Doesn't every other me in the room have the same perception? You all
Well,
see the
no.
world the same.
Yeah. But it's a perception of the world being an object. So when the me looks at a chair, in the me's perception, there's a solid chair there. It's made of concrete. It's a fixed thing. That's what the me sees. That's why it's so dissatisfied. Because actually the chair is just energy chair. So there are 2 perceptions, you could say, the perception of me and the unbridled.
But regardless of perception, if you run into it hard enough, it will hurt.
Pardon? Yeah.
Regardless of perception, if you run into this concrete chair hard enough, it will hurt.
Yeah. So there would be 2 things. Me would hurt, or they'd just be hurt.
What do you there's no suffering, the me's gone.
Sorry?
There's no suffering.
There will be everything when me's gone, because all there is everything.
Who's there to feel suffering? Who's there to feel
No one is there. There's just suffering, joy, whatever. Because in the whole, that's what appears. There is the appearance of everything, emotions and everything, but there isn't anybody any longer having it.
sort of things like suffering, joy, they were always labelled by the mind.
No, the mind's got nothing to do with joy. Joy is just joy.
Anyway, other teachers seem to be saying that, it's end of suffering, the me's gone, the ego's gone.
For the ego, there is suffering for the me, and there's suffering in the world that lots of other me's have. That's the unreality. There is no one suffering, but there is suffering.
Would you say that that's just imagined suffering?
So, no, it isn't that nothing matters. It is that everything is what it is. But it has no meaning at all.
Tony, my dad died last week, so grief is arising, but it's just grief,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just grief.
And in a way, it's sort of very simple and clear. There's nothing sticky about it. It's just what it is. Comes and goes.
I think if this went like pandemic and then we all forgot who we are, the next generation wouldn't have any conditioning, and then surely everything is everything, but they wouldn't know any difference between suffering and joy. Am I just going a bit soon?
answer that. I wanted to hear the answer to your question. I thought that was a really good question.
I didn't really, I wasn't, I thought she was making a statement.
Oh, okay.
What was the question?
Say it again.
You say it.
It was like if this went pandemic, and
Pandemic? What are you talking about?
everyone
Liberation.
everyone over the globe, everyone forgot who they were. The next generation of human beings, would they not know the difference between suffering and joy? So everything would be one instead of everything being everything.
Well, actually, everything is one. The added me is just an illusion, but there isn't a future generation. You're talking about it being a better world next year, or it's just what it is. And if there's separation, there's separation. As far as wholeness is concerned, separation is absolutely perfect because it's wholeness appearing to be separate. It isn't better or worse.
Yeah.
Not something to be got rid of.
Yes, what I come to, sorry, what I come to in this is that it's ordinariness, right?
They're very ordinary.
And at the same time my vulnerability and not being able to control anything anymore in the way that I thought that I could.
No.
And so there is this sense of just being wide open to the movement of emotion, energy,
Absolutely.
thought,
Totally naked.
taking place naked, yes.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I kind of have a sense of coming in and out of that.
Yeah, but don't forget all the time there's a me. That seems a bit frightening, being naked and coming in and out. When it's all over, there's nothing that's frightening of that or that's coming in and out. There just is what is.
Yeah, this dualistic kind of wrong, right, problem solution in and out of this, yeah.
That's why me would be frightened of this message. Me can only reject this message. It can only reject it because it's about the end of me. So it has to survive, so it rejects it. But something else goes on here that is beyond the me's control or influence.
There is the me just wanting to get there now, like, and then there is the me that says, there's too many problems, why can't I do it, so frustrating, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And just kind of the idea of letting go of not letting go, I know that doesn't have to take place, but there's the seeking path has been such a strong theme for me.
You know why? Because seeking is the most effective way to avoid liberation. Because somewhere it's known that seeking is completely and utterly futile. So I'll go in doing that, and it means that I will continue as a body called me. Or go on meditating or opening my fourth chakra, forgiving my mother, everything.
It always seems like there's more to do. So.
Yeah. It's a wonderful activity that makes me feel really good. It's more worthwhile than selling second-hand motor cars. But they're both the same thing. Selling second-hand motor cars or trying to find in alignment are both the same thing because they're about self-satisfaction.
Do I not really need to let go of that?
But you can't do anything. That is helpless.
Yeah, that's really hard. Yeah.
For me, it's panicking because it's realising it's completely out of control. It can't even control what it is.
No, it doesn't. The idea that it controls is a complete dream.
Yeah.
Nobody in this room has any idea what's going to happen in the next minute. Boom! The trouble is that a lot of people know that.
I've heard you say a number of times that seeking is a good way of avoiding liberation. Or it isn't, but that sounds like there's some kind of momentum
Yeah.
seeking. Is
Yeah.
that the case, or is there nothing that
There is no one, there's no seeker and no seeking, but for the seeker, for the me, that industry or activity keeps it sort of happy. It wants to go on doing things in different guises, obviously to do with business or lovers or whatever, but to do with enlightenment, then the seeking activity satisfies the seeker that it's trying to get to somewhere. It doesn't know where, but it goes on doing that.
So it's a good way of keeping occupied, but it doesn't affect it.
Yeah, well, not at all. It's completely ineffective. But also, it also reinforces the me, the sense of me seeking. Reinforces the sense that there's a me trying to get to somewhere.
So it can in effect result in more suffering.
Yeah. It doesn't matter though. Nothing matters. It's fine. There isn't something up in the sky trying to make people liberated.
It's like here is the only place where I can come and just be quiet. But I've experiences where I've just been quiet in other places, right? So it's sort of a funny...
But what does being quiet mean for you?
Well, just not much in the way of mental activity.
Yeah.
Just being... But there's you're not really responsible for that. It's more like, here is where...
Oh no, I'm not responsible for anything, mate. Another you, every year. Ever get in deep sleep every night?
I had crazy dreams last night.
No, but that's dreaming. No, I'm talking about deep sleep. There isn't a dream. There's no one. There's nothing about. And then the energy of you comes back and dreams.
But the me is still beloved as well, isn't it?
Me is the beloved me. Believe that his wholeness is pretending to be a seeker. So there's nothing wrong with it. What's happening?
Wanted to say that I came to a talk of yours about 10 years ago.
You came here 10 years ago?
Not here, it was in Salisbury, and I didn't understand anything you said. This time I think it's hilarious.
It's a good joke. Not for me.
Tony, does it not even help at all to...
No. I'm only being naughty,
Well, it's like there's no answer to it, is there?
There's nowhere, nothing. It can't, if the idea that something would help something means that there is something here that needs to move to somewhere else, and there's something that can help them do that. It's a total illusion.
Not even to be, this is the mind that wants to be satisfied now, not even as much as I can try and hold a perspective of this is all an illusion.
No, I mean this is all there is just words. it's, you know, people come away from here with concepts. There's no me, or this is all there is what is, or there's only nothing being everything, da 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 da. It's just a concept. It's a belief. It's completely of no value. When the energy of that which is separate suddenly evaporates, it's a living, you can't describe it, it's a living, passionate, nakedness which is beyond measure.
I want it.
Oh! Well, you can't have
Tony, if you said at that point, because it's mine, that would have undone years of work.
I've destroyed your life.
If you said you can't have it because it's mine, then that would have undone all the good work you've done over the years.
So, if I believe I am me and trapped inside of this body, and you don't feel like you're a you, do you feel part of everything?
No, liberation isn't feeling part of everything. There isn't any part of it that feels anything. There's nothing that's a part of anything. There is only everything. It's not being a part of everything, it is that there is only everything. It's not me being everything, it is that there is only everything. This is everything. It doesn't need anything else, it doesn't need Africa or anything. This is everything. Wherever you go, there's only everything.
Do you find it weird then that you can only...
No.
There's no you? I was going to say that you can only see through Tony
doesn't
Parsons'
matter.
body's eyes.
No, I can't. Look, I can't see anything. There's no one here seeing anything. There is only what is. This has got nothing to do with the mechanics of this body seeing things. What arises is what arises. Can't be described. And this can be blind, and there's still only what is. Where would the beloved go to?
Is the meanness being dissolved by the words spoken here?
It can be, or it can harden. There are people who come here who actually reinforce and keep and build more armour if they don't want to hear this. So, but it is, in a way, destructive. It's deconstructing an illusion. This is more not the words, more beyond the words.
Understood.
So in that sense, there is something to do.
Right?
So in that sense, there is something to do.
Well, no, that's the other part of this mystery. There's nothing happening here, so there's nothing to do.
No.
It's only the thing that thinks there's something to do that suddenly can unravel, apparently unravel. But being here doesn't mean that that's going to happen.
But it can happen.
It might.
So in so much as it can happen, there is something to be
Okay, so
done.
when it finally happens, it's seen by no one or recognised that nothing ever
But in terms of the person who still thinks there's something to do, there is that can be done for that process to take place.
But that won't make any difference. But people might think, oh, well, that's the place to go, for this to happen. That's an illusion.
Is the difference in perception of it like a particle and a wave?
That was a question, wasn't it? Was that a question?
Sorry?
I think
There was a suggestion.
Was it a suggestion? Sorry.
Physicists are now coming to the same conclusion as this, except that physicists still basically live in the subject-object world, so they see nothing as becoming something. At the moment, that's where they've got to. Nothing becomes something.
It all arises.
Dark energy becomes light energy. The reality is that dark energy is light energy. They're both the same thing. The absolute is the relative.
Is there anything that can be said about full collapsing of me now?
The full collapsing of me is only an appearance. There is no me that collapses. But for me, there seems to be an apparent me or real me, and suddenly that sense or feeling of there being a real me isn't there anymore. And because the me feels that it's real, it thinks everything else is real. It lives in a real world. Well, of course it doesn't. The natural reality is that the whole world is real and unreal. It is and it isn't. But the me is fixed into the sense that everything is real. And that's why the me thinks that it should collapse. Not at all. There's nothing to.
Tony, is nothing happening? Is happening all the time?
Yeah, this is no thing happening.
Yes.
Or you could say this is nothing happening. In a sense, that is what it's like. It is no thing appearing to happen. This is no thing doing this. And it appears to be something that's happening in time. It really isn't. It's no thing appearing to be this.
So
it's the deep, it's the mystery, the great mystery.
Okay.
You're just talking about substantial, that things to the me appear to be substantial.
Yeah, real, yeah.
When you say nothing is nothing and it's appearing as this, but it's the what appears to be substantial doesn't have any intrinsic substance to it. It's
no,
just
not
empty.
Sure. Only to me.
And so that is those two things, those two ideas of nothing and everything collapse because it's really just insubstantiality with the me doing what the me is doing, but really there is just this.
The me mind, the me divides everything into
Right.
the absolute and relative. And when there's no me, everything is mad because everything is one.
Tony, since, speaking of historically, I guess.
Sorry.
Speaking historically, for you, once you had this experience of the me collapsing, disintegrating into what's here, have you come back into the experience of being the me?
No, that happens to, probably happens to quite a lot of people. We talk to a lot of people that things are happening to, obviously. And so what happened to me in the past, Tony Parsons was walking along and suddenly wasn't there anymore. There was no experience of that, there was just nothing. And then Tony Parsons walked out to the other side and said, what was that? Well, it was it. Tony Parsons wasn't there. We call that period an awakening period. A lot of people in this room and elsewhere are in that. And then other people, it's all over. But in that awakening period, there's a meing and a being going on. And then suddenly one morning or one day, well, there's no me and everything's over. But that's only a story. Nothing happens at all. That's a story to illuminate the way you see it.
Tony, the meaning and being are the same thing.
The meaning and being, oh yeah, everything is only wholeness.
Yes.
Oh, meaning is only wholeness pretending to be me.
So when the
Let's play at being separate from me.
So when the moon drops, it's exactly the same.
Well, it's exactly the same, nothing happens. That's why there is no such thing as liberation, because everything is wholeness, and the collapse of me is just an apparent event, so actually nothing happens at all. But there's an awful lot of talk going on here.
But to me, the feelings, the emotions, feel so strongly located in the body.
Yeah.
Like a vibration, like a chord being struck in a cello. It just feels
absolutely
located around the centre of the body.
Yeah. But everything.
You're saying that it's not there, it's everywhere. It's not really.
Well, it's just what it is, because there's no one any longer who is recording it as definitely happening in the body. There's nobody any longer identifying or aware of that there seems to be an emotion arising in my body. There's just emotion in the body.
But the me, or my me, has fallen so deeply in love with the idea that's in the body.
That's fine, you enjoy it. Nobody here is in the slightest bit interested in changing anything that's going on. There's no agenda here.
Yeah.
If you enjoy it for a little while.
Oh, and you were talking about your A-levels earlier on.
Yeah.
I got C for art and E for geography.
Oh,
So
I didn't even get C and D for a laugh.
Yeah, Tony, you talked about when the energy of what's separate falls away.
Apparently.
But how would you know when that happens? Because it's not-
Oh, it hits you like a bus. Possibly, although not always. It's very interesting things. You can't say there are any, but it is very obvious that suddenly everything's changed from being an object to this.
But obvious to who?
Oh, nobody. There's no one that it happens to.
So then, how do you know?
No, you don't. You don't know. But that is all there is. It can't, it's just, it is that, and it can't be known. There's a knower that's walking down the street and knows it's walking down the street, and there's a shop over there. That's the shop. That's a shop. It's an object over there. And suddenly the whole artificial structure of being separate from that shop collapses, and there is only what is. There's nobody there that can record that. It just is. There could be thereafter, obviously a memory of something that apparently happened is what is also. It could be a memory of Tony Parsons who lived in a separate world. This could have a memory of what it was like to live in a separate world. But it isn't the actual. It's not me in the shop anymore, it's only a memory of me in the shop. But it's irrelevant anyway, because suddenly everything is... Who cares? It's like when you fall in love, you know, when you fall in love, when you fall. There's nothing else like falling. Falling in love is very similar, it's not the same, it's very similar to liberation, because there are just people, and then somebody walks into the room, and bong. and that person, you know, there's a sudden feeling that they're all that exists. That's all that exists, really. I'm here, but all that really exists is the utter wonderful beauty of that person. And you're lost in that. In a sense, that's what this is like. It's more gentle. And also later on, you don't try and marry it.
What about time?
Well, time for again is very real for me. I was born, I will live and I will die, and what's happening right now is happening in time. I can't remember what that was like, but it is very clearly, you know, quite a definite substance, time and space. Both are, for me, real things. When the me collapses, time and space are both only apparent. They're just genuine.
So what is it? I mean, I
It's
always
nothing,
wonder
it's an
what's
appearance.
time.
Time is an appearance.
How can that be so substantial? Because it's obvious.
Because you are. Because you are. You are substantial. I'm not the real person. Everything is real, so time is real. Scientists, you know, the Big Bang, they still go on talking about the Big Bang, for God's sake. What was the Big Bang? You know, what time was it?
It's just, it is until, as long as I am, there is time.
As long as I am, because I am substantial, you use the word, yeah. And everything that's happening is substantial and meaningful, you know, it's significant. It absolutely is not, but for me it is.
But that seems to fall away, that significance, but I still, time is such an item for this theory. So if it's in a way it's so obvious there never has been anything or there never can be anything because it's always only now, but it feels so there is movement and there is something happening and there's not.
Okay, so you're giving that movement and something happening a reality.
think the carol singers are outside.
No, that's our holy music. We get that laid on. Just before the tea break begins, people get into a holy sort of
The body of Tony Parsons, as that contracted energy went through, did the body of Tony Parsons have any like physical effects?
a great relaxation, a letting go. That's partly happening in awakening anyway, because there's already both energies apparently. This is a story. So, but for me, in the story, or for the body in the story, there's already a relaxation. It's everything is beginning to merge in a different way, and there's a recognition of certain things. But when the final thing happens, it's a huge relaxation, and also huge energy.
Do you know?
Because there's no longer energy being invested in me. There's no longer being invested in a game I have to play. I've got to deal with the world. I ought to pay that mortgage next week and all that stuff. That just cuts us, which gives tremendous energy because there's only an instant living in this. And this is, this is it. But constantly this is it. Really. Even bad things, or what the mind would think of bad, aching body, it's all, it's an amazing and passionate love affair for no one.
So Tony, in a sense, there is no such thing as cognition. There is no cognition.
No, there isn't anybody that cognizes.
No. The body or not, there is no cognition in happening.
No. That's why it's so impossible to describe it.
Yeah. Okay.
So Tony, I'm sorry to harp on it.
No, don't worry. I'll shoot you down.
If, when awakening happened to you or to anybody, you felt more relaxed.
This is awakening now, not liberation. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
But when liberation happens, there isn't somebody who feels more relaxed. There's nobody left.
But the body-mind organism is more relaxed. So it doesn't it. So I go back to what I asked before. If you, a person, make steps to be more relaxed.
Sweetheart, you're back in the shit,
Oh,
aren't
no.
you? You're back in. If me decides to be more. Let's hope.
The worst bit is when you get
But
a
it's-
taste of it. You get a taste
I
of it.
think what I'm saying is, if the body-mind organism is more relaxed when awakening happens, if the me, the one that's saying all this nonsense, makes steps to be more relaxed, wouldn't that so-called process, which is an illusion, then you can't reverse it?
No.
No.
And you're starting from the wrong place, It's like the guy coming, to a little country lane, and he says to this farmer, how do I get to Birmingham? And he said, I wouldn't start here. The basis of your
Well, I'm just
is that
looking
there
for
is
something
such a
to
thing as someone with free will and choice.
I'm trying to find something to hold on to.
Yeah, well, you know, back in
Good
the
try.
idea that you have free will and choice. And it's tea time.
Right. Yeah, very good. That's our friend Sabir over there. This one is Madame David Wilkins. Leading by